let's keep them flowing. Where do you come from? Where are you going? What are you feeling tonight? And what are you showing? Where do you come from? 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 Where are you going? What are you drinking tonight? Let's keep them flowing.
Squad, and we all know it, okay?
I mean,
Maker, you
where
play
was
the
I?
Game Awards like Moneyball or something. You're like, these are the numbers, these are the stats, these are the guys reviewing it.
We should
But-
do a betting pool. We should totally do a betting
Oh,
pool.
there's.
And
But what's going on? This is the download. We are live. This is episode 256 coming at you live from Cyborg City. Coming at you. We've got an excellent panel of hosts, and we're going to be chatting everything gaming and tech this week. But first, I'd like to start by introducing the panel and see what everybody's been gaming on this week. So, and also, I want to give a shout out to chat. Look at all you beautiful faces out there. So early on, before we started, yes, we came out a couple minutes late. My bad. We were just chatting backstage. But let's get through all the people, and we'll start there. So, Callie, what have you been gaming on? What's going on?
I've been playing some Sekiro and some No Man's Sky. I just cannot put No Man's Sky down. But yeah, that's what's been going on with me.
Yeah, No Man's Sky is pretty addicting. I will say that for sure. Mr. Wilson, I know what you've been playing, but let the people know.
So do you want me to talk about Act 2? Because I can do that. I'll let the people know about Act 2, yeah?
No. Or I'll have
No.
to wait to put my headset back in.
No,
Oh my God, that's great.
WuKong, baby. I've been playing that since it came out. Oh my God, what a game. It is gorgeous. It is fun. It's fluid. The story is amazing, although I won't lie, very confusing. But yeah, I'm having so much fun with it, bro. So much fun with it.
I have one tip for you. Don't wrap yourself in a blanket that was previously wrapped around Bear when you're older.
Oh, right. Thank you. Yes, that is good information to take away from the game. Yeah.
Yeah. Next, we're going to Maker. And I want to ask, I know what you've been playing, but do you regret your purchase first? And what have you been playing?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't regret my purchase. I'm enjoying the game a lot, honestly. Like especially after I did some of the secret bosses, I'm actually really liking those and actually doing the quest side stuff in the game.
Rue, you should have heard him last night. He was gushing over it. He's changed his take.
Yeah.
He's changed his take.
I do really like it. This is definitely Black Myth WuKong is definitely one of my favorite games I've played this year for sure.
Oh, that's good to hear.
I'm enjoying it playing through that. I was playing Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League, which is a very different take on that. But yeah, other than that, I played a little bit of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, getting prepped for Black Ops 6, and that's about it.
Nice. Yeah, Black Ops 6 is going to be an experience. I can't wait for all of us to jump on the zombie bandwagon, and we're all going to take you kicking and screaming. Mr. Simply Pwned Gaming, what have you been on this week?
A little bit of Battlefield. That's pretty much it, man. But I'm getting ready to jump into Callisto Protocol, so I'm gonna check that out, see if it's any good.
Nice, from the makers of Dead Space. And next we got that PlayStation gamer. What's been going on? Thanks for coming on to the show again. What have you been gaming on this week?
I've been gaming on my PlayStation naturally, and been playing the Concord for actually the last 3 days because I ordered the digital deluxe edition. So I got I think it's supposed to be like 3-day early access. The game actually just today I think went live for everyone else, and I've been playing like a bit of Astro Bot, just kind of get myself re-familiar with the controls and everything. And every once in a while I got to tap into that Last of Us no return mode because God damn, I hate myself too much.
So you return to the no return mode.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nice one. Nice one, David.
Yeah.
You caught me in a... Ray, tell me what game you've been playing.
Shannon fucking forgot my name, folks. He forgot my name. No, I'm just playing. What's going on, guys? Been playing a lot of Marvel Snap. Played some Once Human, and then last night I started playing this game called Fallen Atlas: Reign of Sand. Oh my god, it kind of reminds me of like Forspoken. You got it's almost damn near. You got a like an arm gauntlet, pretty much like the girl got the bracelet, and it talks, and she flies across the sand. Just the same thing, but this game is really, it's like a hidden gem. It's amazing, and I haven't been playing, but I've been watching a lot of people play Black Myth WuKong, and that game looks amazing. I must say. So that's what I've been up to.
I think what that game does is it brings something different to video games. We're used to open world RPGs or even more linear experiences. This is, at least in chapter 1 for me, because it's all I've gotten through, is a boss rush game. And that's what I really like about it, because it just takes my favorite part about games and amplifies it to 100. So love it. And that's what I've been playing, in case anyone was wondering. But we'll get to Vet now. I've seen you've been streaming up on the interwaves. What have you been playing on? Let the people know.
Not much. Just been playing some Lego Fortnite. I'm going to be also probably diving into checking out some the new season of Skull and Bones before I dive into Star Wars Outlaws on Monday.
That's right. The Star Wars Outlaws coming out, and that you got that early access. And remember, you're bro when you get 2 codes there. But let's move on into what the news has been giving us this week. No shame. No, I played some SPG freaking YouTube mindless app for 10-15 minutes to try to get a code.
Oh, that was funny.
Yeah. Damn you, SPG. But I have some housekeeping to take care of. First, we have a prediction that we need to go over. Wilson, Maker, and Rudigs, as well as Ray, predicted Black Myth WuKong's score before it came out, and we have to give it to Maker. He got between 80 and 85 was his guess, and the final standing here is 81 from critics and 82 from the users. So, GG's, Maker. You can have your bow here. And you get a kudos point.
Hey, sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't.
Is that the first I was right kudos point that we gave away right now?
Sounds like high school.
Officially. I guess officially since the new rules. Because I called that Bungie stuff. Just saying.
Bro,
Can I get
let's
a?
not get into it because I call shit as well that you don't want to admit is real.
Let's move on. Let's move on.
Let's move
Okay.
on.
We had a discussion before the show. Black Myth Wukong, obviously one of the most played games currently right now. However, you know what? Maybe I'm part of the problem because I never even noticed this until you said it this morning. There are no women in the game. I had to go back and watch that entire cutscene after you beat chapter 1 to see if there was a woman in that cutscene, and no, there was not. I
Yeah,
I'm
great.
I'm actually a little bit shocked that that is happening. Um, is it a design choice? Is it a culture thing? Is this something that should really be an uproar about? Is it a design choice? Um, Wilson, you've been playing the game, so I wanted to give you the first sort of stab at this topic because I know obviously you brought it up to me this morning and kind of shattered the ceiling with it, but why is there no women, and why do you think that's the situation?
It's kind of crazy, right? And to bring this topic up, I feel like we've got to shout out Purple Haze. I only learned about this when I was watching Purple Haze's show last night, and she was discussing it. She was discussing controversy around Wukong and the company being potentially misogynistic and sexist. But the thing is, she wasn't saying like, oh, they're misogynists, they just hate women, they refuse to put them in the game. It's an idea that's being floated that people are talking about because there's no women. And so we've got this idea of feminism in the West, right? We have this idea of equality. We know that China and the East are just very different philosophies to what we have, right? They had a one-child policy, and Purple brought this up last night. They had a one-child policy up until about 10-ish years ago. And before then, if you were born female, like that was a bad thing. That was a bad thing. You didn't want it. You didn't want a female kid. There was too many females. You wanted a male son to carry the line on. Blah blah blah. They have a very different view on female rights and equality and things like that. They have less females in business. They clearly have less female representation in this game, and it makes you wonder: is it an issue? Purple was talking about diversity and multiculturalism and representation in these games. And this game, in a way, is the very idea of multiculturalism, right? I mean, it's all about Eastern philosophy. It's about Journey to the West, the ancient Chinese epic about Sun Wukong, and it's educating a bunch of us in the West about this tale. But is it truly multicultural and truly representative of diversity if it's choosing to omit certain details from the story? That's the question, right? It's an interesting take. It's an interesting thing to think about. I had no idea until I heard about it on Purple Show.
Now, my perspective on it, once I heard that, is maybe they didn't want to show aspects of a game where they were hitting or doing violence towards women. I don't know how that would have acted out, or perhaps their whole mentality, it never crossed their mind because they never thought women played these type of game. They were making it for their male demographic, and in that aspect, they were just hyper focusing on the demographic they were going after. I'm not in the boardroom. I'm not sure of these decisions. Would anyone else, because this is a loaded topic on sexism, um, would like to take a stab at this one? I'll throw it up there to the group there.
Yeah, I'm not the best. I'm gonna skip on this. I'm
Well,
not
listen,
the best.
listen. We don't,
Hardcore.
we don't know what the creative design in the development process was. It very well could have been based in sexism to where they didn't want a woman in the game. Some of these games are made for the country that
They're
it's
made
either
in.
in because they make it palatable. What I mean by that is like some movies, like if there's ghost spirits or anything that deals with the occult, you can't release in China. Like there's I'm not sure what is actually wrapped up in this, but it's an interesting take that that Purple had the other night, that it could be sexism within the company itself, but it's more than that. Like David was saying, it's a culture. It's it's very different than the West. It's perspective.
Exactly.
Very
China's not the
different.
same as America, to put it best.
You were listening
Yeah.
to what she said last night, weren't you, DPG? You were in the show when she was talking about it
I
because it was
got
a really
into
interesting
like
take. And I'll say
right
it, I am
towards
not
the
doing
end.
it justice. You should all go listen to Purple Haze's show once you finish listening to us here because it was a very, very interesting topic, and she had a lot more intricate details than what I'm bringing to the table here.
Well, I
Wh-
just personally think at the end of the day, if it doesn't have a female character and like, okay, is there a character in that story that is lesser for not having a female? From what I could tell, no, because the story is very centric around the main protagonist you're playing as. So having a woman in there, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I think Rudik said it best. You know, I'm not in the boardroom. I'm not sitting there going, yeah, we need women in it. Like, dude, at the end of the day, it's still a great game.
Listen, from to Doragon's point, that's not actually the case. It's not that they looked at the scenario and said, "Let's cram a woman in." They actually removed the female characters that are integral to the story. So I can understand some people's look at that and see it the opposite direction of progress.
So we always
Yeah,
talk about pandering on this show,
like I said,
right?
I'm not familiar with the source material. So like, literally, my frame of reference for the Journey to the West is Dragon Ball, the original Dragon Ball series, because that was supposedly heavily inspired by Journey to the West.
Well, we'll touch on
Yeah,
Maker
that's
on this one,
Um,
and then we'll
yeah. I'm in chapter 3 personally, and I
All
I
right,
do.
all right. Humble brag here.
Yeah, man,
Hey,
exactly. He's
well,
been doing it for
no,
days.
I said to
no,
comment
wait,
on
I was-
sexism, and you're like, well, you know, guys, I'm on
trying to
chapter
explain that
3.
I haven't beat the game. I haven't beat the game yet. Is what I'm
Okay,
saying.
okay, I
So
hear
I
that.
can't comment on like if maybe there's a female character later on or what so on. I will say that there is a cutscene that has a female person in it, but I so far I have not seen any females like in the game. I've seen a lot of babies. It's weird, but I've seen that.
Whoa.
I do feel like they need, or not really need, but it would be nice to see some women, more women in the game, or like even when NPCs more specifically, because I guess when we bring up this topic, it makes me think of like Elden Ring, and the female NPCs in that, you know, like even in the DLC with Jolene and with there's like several other female in the NPCs that you can do the quest lines with, and it's actually really cool. So
Well, there has to be women in the game because there's a lot of babies, right? I mean, where'd they come from?
yeah, exactly.
Obviously
Well,
the
there you
stork.
go.
I mean, come on now.
Yeah, you guys don't know about the stork that lays eggs and then daddy sits on it and then the
Can I
egg
add one
hatches
more
a couple
thing
months
though?
later?
I think it's odd that we talk about pandering all the time on this show, and usually we're talking about it for more females in games or for more representation that isn't white, right? And this, in a way, is pandering. Okay, they've
but the
got out
opposite.
women. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I
it's
said.
funny.
Pandering
Yeah,
to the
yeah.
Chinese.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that's
instead,
what
they're
I mean.
pandering to their male
Yeah.
Asian audience. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's
crazy.
more palatable to them. Yeah, that's what I guess was the idea, but who knows? Maybe it was just
knows?
a sexist company in the culture. Who knows, man? But but it is just the opposite. It's like, hey,
Yeah, it's
what's more
pandering in the other
palatable to this?
direction.
Yeah.
Or, you know, to your first point, you know, this is the world they grew up on when you said they had the selective baby process when they were
One-child
growing
policy.
up. So there was so many more males in their culture. And so females may have played, you know, a lesser role in a lot of their, you know, design choices and even thinking when it comes to it. It's just, you know, we don't live there, so it's hard to put our heads in these people's shoes type of
As
thing.
well as many of us haven't read Journey to the West, so we really don't know what we're comparing it to, right? We
Man,
really
this
don't know the
is
source
No.
material.
my frame of reference is literally an anime that's made in Japan. So no.
My frame of reference is League of Legends, so there it is. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, none of
and
us here are scholars.
my frame of reference is X-Men 97. But let's move on.
We got a
Uh,
Canadian, a British person, and a bunch of Americans in here. Not a single Chinese person. We need to diversify, man.
Exactly. If any of you would like to join the panel, as you know, the download is an open panel, so all are welcome. Feel free to jump on in every Friday at 11 p.m. Eastern. We're coming at you. So let's move on to the next one. And yes, Ray was like, oh, you're such a console warrior. Hit the horse sound. But we have to talk about this and the Series S.
There we go.
All right, are we done with the pony noises? Okay, here we go. The Series S is another technical hurdle for so many developers when they're making games. I'm pulling up articles right now that we see from Baldur's Gate 3, but here we see it again coming to Black Myth WuKong. I believe it was a maker who brought it up backstage that when we first saw Black Myth WuKong, there was the Xbox logo on the game when it was being first advertising. And now that we see it being released, we see it only being able to run on the PS5 as well as PC. This brings to question again what held it off of the Xbox, and so many fingers point to the Series S. Is it a huge problem? Is it really holding back games? Is it a developer issue? Is it really just something to blame? I don't know. Does anyone want to give any clearer sort of technical or any kind of perspective on this that says the Series S is holding things back or it's not holding things back because of this?
Well, I have an analogy that I can share, and it's like this. My old PC was a Core i7 ancient CPU, and I had a GTX 970. Well, I built a current standard rig, and it would be the equivalent of putting both of those computers together and telling some developers, hey, make the game for the GTX 970. Yeah, I can play it on my better rig, but just make it so that it'll work on that. That hamstrings the developers. They have to cut things. They have to bastardize certain aspects of their artistic vision to get it to run. Even BG3 had issues going to the Series S with the split screen thing, and that is not a technical marvel of a game. So I do believe the Series S is holding things back, at least for the marketing thing, to where it has to release onto both. It's got to be available for both. And I think that is hurting them in the long run, especially with Unreal Engine 5 and all the additions that are coming down the road. People are getting upset about 30 frames still. Well, the game technology isn't standing still, but the tech that's in your freaking console is.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. It's frozen in time.
Exactly.
And
Just to
here's
clarify, how old is this generation? PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X.
Listen, I understand the geriatric comments. I get it, but I'm just saying, bro.
No, I'm asking how old are these 22? Okay, so 4 years.
I mean, we're really 4 years
of
into
game
this
development,
generation.
and the tech is in the same
Hold on,
place.
can I jump
Let's get
in?
Ray.
Can I jump
Yeah.
in?
Let's get
All
Ray.
right, so guys, come on. When they made the Series S, it was during COVID. They even had this shit on layaway. You know, people were out of jobs, people were at home. They needed to find, a lot of people couldn't afford a $500 or whatever console or your $5,000 PC. So they made this back then so people could, get into gaming. A lot of people, believe it or not, got the Series S. But I totally agree. It is no way that these games that are coming out today and in the future can go on the S. They got to go back and they got to build something else that is compatible with the games that we need to play in these days. But yeah.
The issue with the S is there's no need for it because, like you said, people could have stayed on their older consoles. They didn't need to upgrade in this generation. So many of the games we've seen today are being released for the older generation. 80% of people play Fortnite, Minecraft, or Roblox. Like the Series S, I think, was a Microsoft move to tank this generation of games. And that's my conspiracy theory on it.
I don't know about tanking it on purpose.
You do know there was more.
Their end.
there was more S's sold than X's ever. The S was always more popular than the X because of what Ray's saying, because people were on a budget and still wanted a game in the modern generation. So even though it was only a little bump from the previous gen, from the Xbox Ones, that little bump was enough to make people, and for
Yes,
the
but
price,
Xbox
it was
should
enough
have.
to keep people somewhat in the loop. 4
Xbox
years
should have.
on, it's not doing that anymore. But 4 years ago, it was enough, you know?
Xbox should have realized it was anemic and treated it like it was their Switch, just like was discussed earlier behind the scenes. I really think that should have been done because it would have separated the current gen games, AAA gaming experiences that everybody wants, from making those games run like trash or like it doesn't make sense. If they would have treated like the Series S would give you all of the last Xbox games with maybe a little better frame rate, and all the games that were ported over to the Switch should have went over to it. Other than that, man, I don't understand the move they did. I don't. I think it did
It's not as
hold a
simple
lot
as
of things
going
back.
It's not as simple as the Switch port also going to Xbox. They would also have to port it separately to a Series S from the Series X, and that's asking companies to do a lot. And if they're
That
already
is
porting,
correct.
if they're already porting to a Series X, they're already porting to Nintendo and PlayStation, they built it on PC, why would they spend more money to port it to a Series S? You know? Like, it's at that point you're asking people to spend a lot of money and a lot of investment to maybe not get it back.
Yeah, some of the games that make sense would be like if the game is also going to Switch, then yeah, I could see it, being
Well,
made
the
for
biggest
Series S.
issue they were dealing with was trying to lower the threshold to enter into gaming. And when you do that, you end up with anemic hardware to start with. And then at that point, to tie it to all of your AAA games that are coming down the pipe makes no sense to me.
Here's the part that always kind of confused me with the whole 2 SKU model they went with. Like, I get the Series S is the cheaper model. It's for everyone who knows more on a budget. The X is supposed to be like the higher end. But when they have that damn parity clause that says, hey, if you can't have features on the Series X and not have it on the S, this is why we're also seeing their own first-party games friggin' run 30 FPS. Starfield, 30 FPS. I don't know why the fuck that game's running 30 FPS. And they come up with some bullshit excuse of, oh, it was an artistic decision. Really? Or was it a hardware decision that was made for them? Because I hate to say it, man. Yeah, PlayStation did it better. They had.
Can I just ask you
All right, all right.
They
Sorry,
had-
guys. The panel's getting a little crowded. We'll get to Maker, and then what up, Dorgon? Thanks for joining. We'll get to Dorgon right after Maker here. So
Yeah, sorry if I sound crap. I'm walking.
thanks for joining. Appreciate it. But let's get to Maker, and then Dorgon. We'll get to you for joining in.
I think the Series S definitely hurts development. It makes it harder to develop for Xbox if they're porting to both PlayStation and Xbox. But I also do see more games kind of shifting to like whenever Switch 2 drops. I think people are going to try and develop for that as well, which will also probably be about as powerful as a Series S. I just think I think Xbox, what they should do is say you can cloud stream on the Series S if it can't run it, and run it on the Series X native.
Yeah, that's what
but they can-
Nintendo does. Sorry, I don't mean to cut in, but Nintendo does that.
Yeah, Nintendo has
That's a good
games
point.
where they stream certain games like Control, Resident Evil, stuff like that. And I think Xbox could do something similar if they like improve their cloud streaming a bit. I mean, technically Switch's cloud streaming isn't good either, but I think to me that would be the best route, and then like maybe like down the line maybe there's better AI upscaling tech that'll make it easier, but we'll see.
All right, Dorgon, you have something to say on the S, I'm sure.
It's not a huge amount. It's basically well-known information. The Series S was designed to basically be the cheaper entry point. That's why there's so many out there that people have been saying, because it's so cheap. The way they did that was give it lesser hardware in certain factors. One of those factors being RAM. The Series S has the exact same amount of RAM as the Nintendo Switch. And we know Nintendo Switch can't run this sort of game. So if you've got something that is that RAM dependent, we're seeing it dropping frames, we're seeing it hitching and having issues on the PlayStation 5, they're not going to be able to just easily port that to the S. And with Xbox's parity clause, which they only said didn't have to happen for Baldur's Gate 3, so that they didn't miss out on the biggest game of the year, you've somehow got to get a game that's running on double or triple that RAM, and sometimes like 8 to 10 times that RAM on a PC, running on 4 gigabytes of RAM. And it's a developer's nightmare, because the biggest problem you face then is the effort of developing for those constraints going to be worth it with the sales that you make afterwards? And with a quarter of the amount of Xboxes out there as there are, say, PlayStation 5s, it's probably not going to be worth it.
I just want to correct you real quick. Switch has 4 gigs of RAM, 1 dedicated for operating system, 3 for gaming. Series S has 10, 2 for operating system, 8 for gaming.
Still a lower amount than everything else that you're developing for. So, okay, my numbers were off, point still stands, but thanks for the correction.
Parity clause, though. Can I ask about that? Did the PlayStation 4 had a Pro, right? Did they have anything similar with the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 4 Pro thing? Did they have a parity clause? I mean, that's not what we're talking about right now, but I'm just curious.
Because I remember the Pro introduced the HDR, didn't it?
Pro went to 4K in HDR, so basically it was the same base, and then if you wanted to as a developer, you could add PS4 Pro or Xbox One XS Super Duper, whichever one was the top one.
Yeah.
You could throw on the additionals on top of it. It wasn't a case of at launch you had 2 vastly different power levels to be developing for.
Xbox is in serious trouble with the Unreal Engine 5 games that are on the horizon. They're just not going to either come because they're too demandy. Or you're going to have to take your artistic vision and butcher it to get it to run.
Yep. And I will stop now. With bullying
can I say what I was gonna say?
Okay.
Yeah, can we get off the Stable
Okay, so
Express? Is that
I just
okay?
want to say this real quick. I feel PlayStation did it best. They had one console, and the cheaper one was just the digital one. So then people would buy into their ecosystem more through that console. That's essentially, in my mind, what Microsoft was trying to do with the S, but they made it a weaker machine and not, the same machine as the X, but without the disk drive. That's to me what they should have done, what PlayStation did. It's just make it a digital-only console, no disk drive, $100 cheaper. Just eat the cost when you can.
Well, I'm with Maker on this. They should have advertised the S as playing most games, but if you want the AAA best experience, check out our xCloud. And and Ray is correct in the chat that they should improve xCloud. It's not even to where Stadia was. And I know people will probably slap me in the head for that, but Stadia had 4K and it played good for me.
Dude, I was playing the Atlas Fallen, and I was playing it in the cloud, and I was just like, Jesus. I mean, beautiful game, but they really need to improve the cloud. I had to move over and play it on the Xbox Series X, but I do agree with Dorgon. I do agree with you, SPG. I mean, if I was a developer, I'd say, sorry, I'll make it for this. I can't make it for that. Sorry, I can't do it.
I'm not going to compromise my game.
xCloud itself, if it can get itself together, is built off Series X hardware, not Series S. So that would step around that issue if they can get xCloud up to a decent standard.
We have to keep something into perspective here. And a lot of us lose it because of the forest for the trees or whatever, but you're talking about a $300 box trying to run games that a $3,000 PC can barely do. Okay? Like, that's what you're trying to do. You're telling these developers to work voodoo fucking magic behind the scenes to make this stuff run good. And I know a few game developers, the stuff is jank behind the scenes. And some of it works by chance. Some of it you got to work really hard at and go over the same thing to make an edge look right. It's just incredible. And, I'll just leave it there. But you can't compare a $300 box to an $1,800 to $3,000 machine and expect to get that performance. So what I'm telling all you console people is enjoy your 30 frames. It's not getting better.
Wow, PC Master Race. PC Master Race comment
Listen.
to end the
Sorry, I
discussion.
dropped my
love
dick.
it.
I'm sorry.
All
I love
right,
the
all right.
microphone.
I love my digital PS5.
You
from
want to
my
get on the
understanding-
Series S one more time, Ray?
What's that?
Did you
I just
want
want to say I just want to say I love my PS5 digital. So I got the PS5 digital and I got the Xbox Series S, and I spent probably about 90% of my time on the digital than the S. So I was so happy when I got the X because it's like way much better. Yeah, it's that shit. All right, bye.
All right.
Yeah, sorry, I turned into like the console war thing.
No,
but
that's
it's like,
what this is all about, man. Just chatting it up.
Well, from
So
my
we're gonna.
understanding, was
Yeah, go,
that
Callie.
Series S was for budget, for people who can't afford the. Like, I understand what SPG's saying, but because I remember at the time that they were announcing it was Xbox's big thing was gaming for all. That's what they were trying to do. That's
Yeah.
what they were trying to go for the
That
budget.
was the narrative, but what's the actual thing? And yes,
Yeah,
like
now
SPG says, PC2 is coming in 2025, and it's going to be a 5v5
That's right.
shooter.
That's right.
PC2. Okay. What's the next topic, Root? Can I ask what is the next topic?
Thank you, Wilson.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I love that Series S inspired so much, though. But I think this will inspire a little bit as well here. Almost 90% of developers say microtransactions don't belong in premium games. And when you brought this up, I 1,000% agree with this. I think transactions should only be put in the free-to-play or even the lower tier, like the half-price off games. Keep those microtransactions out of premium games. I don't
Rudix.
want to see premium transactions in
Rudix,
Star
I have a
Wars
question for you.
Outlaws. But yeah,
what do
go.
you think the reason is that 90% of developers say microtransactions don't belong in premium games? What is your opinion on why 90% of them believe that?
Well, when you ask that question, it's 100% because they don't want to put in the extra work to keep updating and maintaining and keeping this pay structure up in a game that they've already spent so much money and time on. I would assume
I think they're
that-
tired of their work getting hamstrung. Because if a game
Exactly.
releases with certain microtransactions, look at that Star Wars game, Battlefront.
Look
Anyway,
at Shadow of War. Look at Shadow
But
of
look
War.
at it.
Yeah, very
but
true.
Hold on, but hold on. Look at it from an investor's point. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. But look at an investor, somebody that put the money in for you to make this game, and you're not making the money on the game. Well, what do we got to do? We got to do something. We got to put more stuff in there. We got to get these. We got to do something because we ain't making no money. We got to entice them with some colors and some skins or something. We got to make money. Maximize our dollars.
All right.
That's
Well,
like
I'd like to say
90%.
one. I'd like to say one thing on that. I think investors who invest in games, it should come with an asterisk. You're making an entertainment product, and it may not always result in maximizing dollars. And I think that
thank you.
developers need to take control of that. Shareholders need to take control of that because gaming is an art form of entertainment, and it shouldn't be always based on what can make the most dollars. But what do you all think?
Well, No Man's
Well,
Sky is getting
okay,
Okay,
I just
Dorgon.
wanted to-
We'll go to Dorgon here. I saw him pop up first. He hit the buzzer.
Do you guys think if these exact same investors went to a painter and asked them to make something now, that they would give them the same sort of hamstrung time frames, profit margins, and all that sort of stuff? It's like they don't understand that it is an art form. That's what it feels like. That's why 90% of developers are saying they don't agree with the microtransactions, because they want to make a piece of art. They want to make something better. And we've seen it with so many games where stuff gets taken out of the game itself and either then resold as DLC or new items are put into an in-game store instead. It just feels like a lack of understanding from my perspective anyhow of the people actually investing the cash and making the product that may not pay back immediately, but look at cult classics. Some of them took 20 years to take off. Sometimes an investment's long term.
Yep.
Well, I was just
Absolutely.
gonna
And
say,
yeah, go.
my point would have been just basically going off what Dorgan was saying. Also, it's patience. It's patience. Investors need to be patient. Like they want their money now. And it's like I don't think, like Dorgan said, I don't think these people realize like these things take time. You know, you don't make a game overnight, and especially with the way the gaming industry is right now, where it's like no one wants to work through crunch. No one wants to work in an office. Everyone wants to work from home. It's like things take time, and I am tired of games being made for investors and not for gamers. So that's why I think that 90% of those developers are right. Like, dude, microtransactions don't belong in a premium $70 game. $20 maybe. Free to play, sure. Why not? Because you know what? It's free, so you should get some kind of money if it's a good game. That's my say.
Well, it's a give and take when it comes to that kind of stuff, because they all want the new revenue stream that comes in. They don't want to sell you a game every 8 years and get your $60. They want $120 from you every year. That's why we get so many 5v5s and all that stuff. And a lot of that stuff is pushed on the money side of people wanting the money. Look at Concord as an example. Some people are enjoying the game, but it landed with a thud because of they're trying to charge for a game that probably should be free. They should be selling you skins. The industry wants that perpetual growth as well. So not only do you need to make so much money, you need to make more. Every quarter has to be better. And I think that doesn't lend itself to artistic impression.
It always has to go up. It can never flatline. It can never go down. If it starts going down, then they start pulling their money.
Let's get
SPG,
to
guys,
Ray.
yeah,
we'll get to Ray, and then we'll get to Maker.
This is the first year that I said enough's enough. I'm not getting FIFA, and I'm not getting Madden. Madden, that game's been out for years and years and years and years, and they still doing premium microtransactions, and the game is between $70 to over $100. And guess what? It is still the same game, same type of movement, same type of features. Really nothing new, and the microtransactions is just ridiculous. So. And they had lots of time. Madden's been out for a long time. That's my put.
Maker.
I guess I look at it as other art forms as like music and movies, where there are producers, there are people who want this on a specific deadline and need to have it done. And there's also others that are willing to take their time. And I guess with video games, I also see that. I see projects that are long in the making, like GTA 6, where tons of money's put into it, and it takes years and years and years for it to finally come out. I don't know. I think there's always going to be, that business guy who needs it done as a yearly release, or we need a new album out by this year so that we can hit some numbers, stuff like that.
Yeah, and I get it, and I feel almost like entertainment has suffered, and we see less and less things. Vince Vaughn had an article that went viral, and he talked about his movies not being made anymore because they're just not making the money, and that makes his art form suffer. But this is the world we live in.
Exactly the same.
Sorry, who's that?
He said that Matt Damon, he said exactly the same about movies. Because you don't have this sort of double dip with them anymore because of streaming services, anything that goes into the cinema basically has to be a surefire thing, because that's the only point that you're getting money from it. You'll get a payment from a streaming service, and sometimes that's per play, sometimes that's the license to be on the service for X amount of time. But all of the money that the studio takes, the actors take, that everybody takes to go into the next project comes from ticket sales at the cinema. And maybe we're seeing a similar sort of thing with the subscription services we've got in gaming. These games have to sell gangbusters immediately if they don't go on to subscription services immediately. So that they make money to make the next one. And because you've got to appeal to the widest possible crowd to achieve such sales, everything's sort of becoming a bit anamorphic. Everything's looking very similar, feeling the same. We all saw it from Gamescom Live, opening night live. It basically felt like the same 4 or 5 games being shown off over and over again. So maybe it is an industry that is kind of eating itself a little bit and needs to realize this before it's too late.
Well, one of the problems I find is that these games, much like the movie industries, are costing $300+ million to make a damn game. When you come into that kind of territory, that makes everyone nervous because they're not spending their own money. Let's keep it real. They're going out and getting capital based on an IP, and then they're rolling the dice. They're rolling the dice. And when you roll the dice, you can come up snake eyes. Like, so there's not a lot of innovation. There's not a lot of unique storytelling being done. It's kind of a sausage factory. And once you know how it's made, I don't know. I don't really want to eat sausage. I don't know.
What kind of sausage is it? What kind of sausage is it?
Oh my god!
All
Ray,
right,
drink a
all
coffee.
right. Well, I love all the perspectives. Great
Lost.
conversation on this topic. But I want to get on to something a little bit more viral. So if you haven't heard, Chick-fil-A is reporting it's launching a streaming service for some reason. Now I've never been to a Chick-fil-A before, but maybe you guys can tell me, why are they
Dude,
trying to compete with Netflix and Disney and Amazon in the streaming wars? They are
Streaming wars.
launching. What is
For those
this?
of us
It's
across the pond,
Why is
one,
this a
what is
thing?
it? And 2, isn't this the company that everybody was boycotting earlier in the year because of
Yeah.
some
Yeah, because they're,
It is.
they're a
But
Christian
as long as they bring us those hot and crispy streams like the chicken that comes out of their fryer, I'm down.
They need to open up on Sundays, man. Come on, open up on Sundays.
No, that's God's
Hey,
day.
little do you
No, no,
know,
no, no.
Ray, that you
Hey,
cannot.
God likes
stream on
chicken
Sunday.
too.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, they're not.
Yeah,
they're
little
making
do you
it
know you can't stream on Sunday. Yeah. Hey, look, Windstar agrees with us. Yep.
No, the only stream church services. Sorry.
Well, I'm gonna enjoy my waffle fries.
Yeah, exactly.
well-
I want my damn. What was a KFC supposed to make like a gaming console? But it's like that was the total joke.
It did.
Maybe
It's on the market. It's
Yeah,
totally out
KFC
there.
console.
What?
Well, they're working with a number of major
doesn't really
production
much-
companies to create
runs real
family-friendly
hot.
shows.
See, the thing with the KFC console is they use a little bit less thermal paste so that you have a chicken warmer at the bottom. It's great.
Oh my god! Whatever, bro.
And no, if you get it, aren't you supposed to get a lifetime supply of free chicken? That sounds like a punishment, if you ask me.
So they are said to be working on a family-friendly game show from Glassman Media.
Oh my god.
Mhm.
And
Oh God, I know what this is gonna be about.
also they're known to work with certain Marvel people. Now I don't think it'll be a Marvel series because Xbox owns that, but it may be an action adventure type of movie or show. They're also working with people with MTV. Chick-fil-A is trying to make moves into getting into streaming, and I have no idea why.
Chicken just wasn't enough.
Yeah.
Exactly.
so-
They gotta stream that chicken experience to everyone.
So
You know,
will
once it-
the
That's all
streaming
really
service
streaming.
not be available on Sunday as well? All right,
You kn-
let's open this up to the panel. Yeah,
once
go,
upon
Ray.
a time ago, I was a diehard Blockbuster Video. I got my reward cards and I was getting my games, and then this Netflix came along, and I laughed. I said, "Netflix, it won't last." So you never know. You never know. But honestly, dude, only thing I want from Chick-fil-A is their chicken. I don't know. I'm gonna pass. That's on me. That's my take.
All right.
Well, you know, I think KFC should get into the streaming market. That way we could call all of their content original recipe. You know, I think it'd be really cool.
Now it should
think
all
it's-
be finger-looking good
Come on.
streams.
Coming off the back of our last conversation
Not
about
licking
budgets
strings.
go
and
Wilson.
whatnot,
Yeah.
Yeah, coming off the back of our last conversation of budgets and the costs of things and whatnot, I think it's really interesting to see. Just for some further actual details, as Ru said, it's for family-friendly shows they're mostly going to try and create, and it's unscripted things like game shows and whatnot, where they've got something that they'll be following, but it's just going to be contestants, and the people on the show are going to be making the fun up as they go along. But the budget that they've got for each of these shows, for each half-hour episode, is roughly $400,000 per episode. That's the
Well,
budget
they
that
often
they've
do
assigned,
that.
and that's crazy.
The problem
Absolutely
is,
crazy that they're investing so much.
the problem is
It's like
they're
Google doing Stadia, right?
after that permanent revenue stream, like every other corporation is. That's what they're after. It doesn't matter about how good the idea was; it's how much revenue they're going to generate off of it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They just got to get people like us, bring us on board for game shows. It'll turn out great. I'll make it great.
Exactly. Damn right.
Well, I
Welcome
guess-
to the Chicken Show.
Hey,
Yes, these are chicks.
All I have to say, they don't even have to offer me $400,000. I'll do it for free. I will make that platform great.
Fuck no, I'm charging them a premium like Neil Druckmann fucking charges.
Nah, they don't need to pay me
$20
anything.
million for the TV show, and then
They don't need to pay me anything. I'll do a talk show. It'll be great. Everyone will love it. It's the
Well,
bottom line.
We
His
can
guest
see
host will be a chicken.
Chick-fil-A is making an experiment, like Wilson say, and maybe like Google, and maybe we're talking about the next right now.
Oh,
So,
Oh god, how do I know
Don't you bring
Really?
up feels, guys.
but
hey, look,
weird
that was all
topic.
part of the
Thanks
setup.
for bringing that to my attention. Definitely a strange one. But
What's next? McDonald's go to streaming next?
The next
they're
one
already trying.
is robots are entering the street scene and they're taking our jobs.
Stupid.
Taking our games.
Why are we still on this?
So
Why?
China's robot
Just
makers
continue
chase
anyway.
Tesla to deliver humanoid workers. So they're being delivered, guys. Nearly 30 companies showed off models at Beijing this week. China has called for mass production of humanoid robots by 2025, and they're all going to be 5v5 shooters on PC2. Tesla plans to deploy 1,000 Optimus robots in factories next year. So, guys, 2025 is now being touted as
Guys.
the year of the robot workers.
I'm
If
telling
we
you
saw
right now.
if we
Telling you
saw
right now,
layoffs,
Elon Musk is
guys,
taking over the world.
if we saw layoffs this year in the 10% sort of across the board through AI technology, what kind of layoffs are we going to see next round in 2025 due to robot automation taking over humans' jobs?
Can I just say, this is the stuff
go.
that was talked about when I was a kid. Like, AI is the stuff that we're talking about right now that's taking people's jobs that we've been talking about for a couple of years. But ever since I was a kid, we've talked about the robots taking the factory jobs, taking the trucker jobs, taking these manual labor things, and they've just not quite been there up until now. We've got the AI that can assist them. Do you know what I mean? And now they've gotten an AI overseer. So we've definitely lessened factory jobs in the past couple of decades by creating all of these machines, and now we just have overseers for the machines and repairmen for the machines, and it's made a lot less factory jobs. Well, now we're going to have the robots taking those people's
Skynet
jobs.
is doing. Hey,
Factories,
look,
we're about to lose manual labor. It's kind of crazy, but it's getting to that
Hey,
point now that we talked about when I was young.
Wilson. To be fair, Skynet's doing wonderful things. I'm telling you.
Well, history's
It all
repeating
burns
itself.
to the ground. When everything burns to the ground, it'll be great. Look, I'm all for AI, but let's be real. AI is not anywhere near where it's going to rule the world. It's not going to do wonders for
We're not talking about AI
robots.
ruling the world here, though. That we're just talking
No,
about
no,
the
no.
fact that fucking factories aren't going to
No,
be
no, no.
places
That's
where
what.
people
That's where
can
I'm
go
leaning.
to work
No, no, no,
anymore.
no.
Like,
No,
we're
no,
losing
Wilson.
a
That's
whole
what I'm getting.
aspect of the
No,
economy.
no, Wilson. That's what I'm getting to. AI can't even spell.
Okay,
How
but
do
here's
I
the thing.
spell?
History's repeating itself. We've already been through this with the automotive industry. Detroit used to be a mecca where people did the American dream, where they started off at the bottom rung and could make it up to... What's that?
It's not going to be able to understand anything.
No. What I mean by that is it's not an AI in a human body that can move their hands like we do, but automation does take jobs, and we've already seen it happen in the automotive industry. You used to have thousands of hands on these cars as they went through the line,
I know.
getting
No,
welded, put together, bolted, and now there's machines that do it all, and one guy programs the machine and another guy repairs them, like David was saying. We've already seen it happen.
No. I'm not discrediting that. I get that, but also we've also seen how that's what your point there is, that you've got a human, right, is doing the programming, and a human is repairing things. So there is still flaws in the system, because what happens if that human accidentally puts the wrong does the program wrong?
Right.
Your whole fucking thing
I
is
don't.
destroyed.
I don't think
the issue.
anyone's doubting that human error is still going to occur. I think they're going to make that less and less of a factor. What I wanted to talk about here is we saw this year about 10% of layoffs hit a lot of jobs due to AI, and now in 2025, I think we may see a new wave, and it's a little bit more scary because they're literally going to be machine robots with metal parts that look like humanoids replacing humans.
Goodbye factory workers, goodbye baristas, goodbye supermarket workers, goodbye anything that's just basic manual labor.
The only way that this is going to take over the world, or be the norm, is if you start seeing robots that look like Data from Star Trek Next Generation, or you see them like the iRobot movie.
That was on another podcast. We saw those robots. They're looking very sexy.
It's still gonna.
I want to hear from the first guy to buy one of those and modify it and have it rip, bits off him.
I'm just saying, this is the fad right now. AI is the new fad. Robots are the new fad. Robots have been trying to take over. Everybody's been trying to get robots to take over since Transformers was a thing back in the 80s. It's not. I don't see it happening. I understand manufacturing. I get that. I get the automobile industry. I understand that. But to think that every job is going to get overtaken by robots is just nonsense.
Well, we're not saying every, but so many more. So many
take
more.
AI away. I'm going to read you something real quick. Take AI out of this, because what we're talking about is the robotic bodies. Okay, that's what this article is about. Take AI away from it for a second. With just robotics, 25% of all jobs are at considerable risk of automation. Robots could replace 8.5% of the global labor force. This is just robots. This isn't something with a hand that can think and do the same action I can do. It's designed for one action, and it does it over and over and over again. But these statistics are real, and with AI, and when they develop a robot that has hands that can move dexterity like mine, we are fucked.
Yeah, and they just ordered 1,000 of them for 2025. So they're starting to come off the conveyor belt right now. I think this is a mark in a new era, and what we're going to see, what we're going to experience in the new world, we'll be letting you know. But I could definitely be seeing a 10% across these.
Here's my final take on this. So even if all of that is true, and that's what ends up happening, we as humans will adapt. So we lose the manufacturing jobs to robots.
Guess what? The machines will adapt too.
Well, and look, the only way I'll buy that is when I'm going to my counseling appointments and stuff. If I have to start talking to a robot, then I'll buy into the stuff. Until that happens.
Anyone telling you that Skynet isn't real, it ain't gonna happen? No, you're right. Skynet's not real, but it's under a new name. Tesla.
Oh, yes, it is real. It all is, and it's called the government.
And I'm telling you,
I'm taking the panel back before we all put on tinfoil hats.
Come on now,
grab your reins.
PlayStation is Skynet.
Let's jump on to the final topic, and that is just reviewing Gamescom. Now, we all sat here and watched through it together on Cloud&Console. Some of us, unfortunately, couldn't make it for understandable reasons. We're looking at you, Wilson. And Vet, where were you? You gave me permission, and I streamed it. Silence. Okay. Well, we move on to Gamescom opening night, and I just wanted to give everyone sort of a chance to say their biggest takeaway on Gamescom and what they're looking forward to. But yeah, and I'm going to start with Vet first because I know Callie only wants to talk about Crimson Desert. And I'm going to get him that clip ready for when he talks about it. So, Vet, what did you take away from Gamescom?
There were a bunch of games that I'm interested in. The main one that I cared about was Civilization 7. That's the biggest one that me personally. I know there are other games that other people were interested in. I'm excited for Indiana Jones coming to play, but I'm a big Civilization fan. I've played every version since the very beginning, since the first one that was built off of a $10,000 PC, way back when. So that one I'm looking forward to. Indiana Jones I'm looking forward to. There's some other ones that I'll probably won't play, but I will definitely watch. I thought it was a good show overall. I mean, it brought games that I want.
Sorry,
Was
Vet.
I
I
disappointed
think
with some of the delays? Yeah,
your
a
audio
little
is
bit, but
cutting out there. Ray, what did you feel about Gamescom? What was your biggest takeaway?
I liked it. I thought it was great, and I agree with Vet. I can't wait to play Indiana Jones. I actually might play that on the PS5. But you know what? I'm a huge fan of Dune, and something about the open world and the giant worms and the spaceship and exploring. Something about that game just like got me. And also Warhammer Space Marines. Oh my god! So those are the games, and I wanted to see more of Mafia. Old Italy, old Mafia. I wanted to see some more of that, but I like the show.
Cool. I think people were all in that same vein. I think Mafia definitely going to get delayed. I think they may have said 2025. Or nothing at all. But it's definitely coming out 2026 on PC too. Speaking of PC two, SPG, did you have any takeaways from Gamescom that opening night?
Yeah, absolutely. Mafia, the old country, that little teaser they gave us angered me beyond belief because I did not see any gameplay. It might even be an RTS. We don't know. But anyway, I'll stop crapping on Gamescom. Yeah, I'll stop crapping on Gamescom. No. They showed one game that is the only game I care about right now, which is Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Very excited for that game. It won Gamescom, the popularity contest there on the show floor with people getting hands-on impressions of the game. They played like 2 or 3 hours, and I'm just super excited for a single-player RPG that should be feature complete and have no microtransactions and all of that stuff. Very excited for another single player RPG, much like Avowed, but both of these games got delayed, so I'm crying.
Will it be on PC too, though? That's the real question.
I'm hoping so. I'm saving
Wilson,
my money now.
Is that you off mic? I see. If you're busy, no worries. Oh no, that's Maker. That's Maker. You're. And
our anime characters confusing, yeah.
A little. Well, they were on the little screen for me. So we'll skip Maker. We'll see if Dorgon's available to say his takeaway from Gamescom.
Yeah, I'm here.
Wow, look at
Just
that.
nearly went arse over tit in the woods, but I'm here.
Do you have a takeaway from Gamescom? One thing that stood out to you?
Civ 7.
Yeah, this sort of show's done for me. It was so boring. It was 2 hours long. Copy, paste, repeat. We don't need this sort of show anymore. We're in the internet age. Change the formula. Even the people on the floor weren't cheering because it was so boring. We need to change something up because if we just keep doing this, it's gonna go the same way as E3 and just disappear because no one was watching, no one was part of it. And I mean, there were games in there that I liked. The really expensive sort of 400 quid game in Batman Arkham because I'd need to buy a MetaQuest headset as well. There was, as people have said, Civ 7. I like Age of Mythology and Ara as well. I just wish they weren't all releasing in the same week. Yeah. There was good stuff in there. It was just in a very boring format.
I hear that. Change up the format. We need
Let
something
that
more
post it.
exciting.
I'll turn it into a great show.
But Wilson, I know you didn't see Gamescom, so unfortunately, I'm not sure if you'll have a response here, but I'll give you this minute. Anything you look forward to? Have you seen anything from Gamescom, or are you still looking to see it?
I'm still looking to see highlights. I'm gonna check stuff out at the end of this week. I've heard a few things here and there. Some of the things the fellas have talked about have excited me. What I see on screen right now, though, Goat Simulator Remastered. Why? That's all I want to ask is why.
Because it is the greatest game of all time. That is
I did
all you
play
need
the
to know and
original one.
understand.
I loved it. I bought
the
it the
goat.
year it came out, and me and my brother used to love that game when it first came. So, but it's just crazy how they did Goat Sim 3 last year, and now here's the original remaster. Was 3 not successful enough? Because 3 is a live service, right? They have seasons and whatnot. Or was it so successful that they thought they'll double back? I wonder. I do wonder.
I'm not a Goat Sim guy. I've never actually booted it up, but
I've ate
yeah,
those
if
before.
It's
Does
you
that
seem
count?
to love it, so it's got
It's
some audience.
yeah.
And we'll go to Cali now. I have Crimson Desert up on the boss battle. Is this what you're excited for? Let me know what excites you about the game, and maybe talk a little bit about it.
Oh yeah, it looks great. It looks intense. I like how realistic it is. How like each swing of the sword, you can see the wheat flying in the air, and you can and oh that jump kick. Just watching, I'm getting all excited. Like all the maneuverability, everything just looks so different compared to what games we've seen recently. Because games I feel recently, stuff that's attached to that movement is an ability and it's attached to a weapon or something, or like this looks like it's going to be something new. And from 2019 to now, looking at all the videos to now, it has improved quite a bit. So I'm intrigued to see what it's going to be
Look
like
at
in
all
the
those
end.
character animations that are stacked on top of each other as they're fighting. Like he
Yes, yeah.
doesn't it just looks really really cool, and it
Looks
looks like they're
clean.
expanding. They're expanding on the open world type of game. Later on in the trailer, you'll see castles getting crushed by larger monsters, and it just looks really really cool.
Yeah, I even
Maker,
saw weird small little thing, but I like that one of the scenes you see him fighting someone, and as he's taking a step back, he's stepping through the water, and you could see the water rippling with his feet as if it were actual water. It just looked so realistic.
Nice.
yeah, like they
And
spend a lot of time to make all of the environments look beautiful, but most of them are not interactable, and I like that about what I've seen of this game.
Yes.
right. That is a good show because I will say in Black Myth Wukong, you try to
Yeah.
interact with the environment, and that's not for you.
One of its
No,
biggest downsides, isn't it?
yeah.
The invisible walls and all that type of stuff. It's just a little confusing considering the genre it's meant to be in.
Yeah, it's a linear boss rush game. That's what I
Yep.
take it for.
But
And I'll
wait
say,
until wait,
I've
just
been
wait.
telling everybody else that my favorite move so far that I've seen in every clip is the Legolas move, where he bounces off the enemy and flies in the air and starts shooting arrows down at the enemy.
Yeah, it'll be a tough one for the Series S to pull off. That's for sure.
Oh
Ah,
yeah.
So can I give my quick thoughts on Gamescom? If no one
Yeah,
else
did I
wants
miss
to?
you? Did I miss
Yeah,
you,
you missed me,
TPG?
man. You missed
Yeah,
me.
yeah, you did.
ouch.
You did.
Oh my
What
god.
a slight.
Wow.
What a
He
slight.
missed
me,
Oh
man.
damn! Sorry, call the body
That
slam. Sorry.
PlayStation gamer, I apologize. I did not mean to do that. Please
Oh
give
no,
your
you're all
give your
good, man.
shut up.
You're all good. I'll just give you shit. But no, dude, I'm kind of like with Drogon in there. Like I was so bored during the show, which is funny because I was with a friend. We were watching it together. I'm like, dude, what the fuck is all this shit? Like, 90% of it, I was falling asleep. But then it's like at the last minute, they're like, oh hey, Indiana Jones, then Mafia. I was like, okay, cool. I could have you could just posted a trailer online and have done the same thing. I do think we're in the age of the internet. Like, why do we have these big 2 hours? 2 hours. It's no. Cut that down. Cut that down to an hour and just pick out the highlights. Pick out the the stuff is gonna get people's attention. Come on. But yeah, Gamescom was boring for me. Although I was smiling when I saw PlayStation on an Indiana Jones game because I was like, didn't they say that was supposed to come to PlayStation, but then they canceled that version, and now I guess they're uncanceled it. So I'm not buying it, by the way. I think that game looks mid as hell.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your opinion, and I agree, man. I'm not a first-person shooter type of person, and I never was into the Indiana Jones scene, but it'll definitely
Uncharted over
capture.
indie anytime. Uncharted over indie anytime, man.
That's what we thought about Gamescom. For me, it was all about Infinite, Nikki. That game is gonna do gangbusters. And I'm surprised Vet didn't mention it. It's Cozy Game of the Year. It's getting so much attention. Did you know over 12 million people have signed up for the pre-registration? This game is.
Is it a Sony game?
That makes me very uncomfortable.
Just
Yeah.
asking because you brought it up. Is it a Sony game?
I don't think it's a Sony game, but it is a console exclusive for PlayStation.
So it's okay. That's the point I'm trying to make. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. You brought it up,
Yeah.
so I was just wondering. Yeah. That tracks.
Sony, no. Just no. Just no.
Someone play the button. I'm not in front of the PC, but someone click the bloody Rue button.
All right. Well, the Rue button. Okay.
That's what it's called.
Excellent. Well, everyone, let's go down the line and give shout outs and then get out of here with the rest of our days. And thank you, audience and chat, for chatting it up, hanging out with us during the download. You guys are always epic as always. But yeah, let's start it at the top. Well, I can't do the top anymore, so we'll go left to right. Callie, what's going on? Where can people find you? And let me know so I don't accidentally stream over you.
You're good. Tonight I'll be streaming 9 p.m. Mountain Time, Payday 3. So if you got Game Pass or if you got it on PlayStation, come on by and we'll rob some banks together.
It's also on GeForce Now, and it's connected through Game Pass, PC Game Pass there. So you got lots of options to play Payday.
Hey.
No excuses. No excuses.
Yeah, Vet. We'll see you there.
Oh,
Wilson.
Bro, I am absorbed into Black Myth Wukong right now. I have no idea how long it's going to take me to beat this game, but that's probably all I'm going to be doing for the foreseeable future. I have no other life. I am the Monkey King. Yeah.
Oh my. Is that what you call it?
So I'll send you some bananas.
I want to say when that story played with the blanket and the monk and the bear, I was like, wow. It's powerful, right?
Oh yeah,
much
like
like
I said,
David's
I don't even understand what's
bedroom
going
roleplay.
on, but I'm still moved by it. I'm still
Yeah.
invested. Like, what is next? What happened here? Who's to blame? Like the whole fire of Act What? Mate, that story is so cool. It's so cool.
I agree. Dorgon, what can people look out for if you want to give yourself a shout out?
Lots and lots of wind and me being lost in a woods. I literally have no idea where I am. This walk has gone wrong. If you do want to support me, I've got a new video up asking about PC handhelds, which one's best to buy from the perspective of someone who is looking to buy one. So slightly different angle on things, but otherwise you'll find me here on Cloud&Console every Wednesday for Super PlayStation Bros.
Oh
Awesome.
yeah. Where's my invite? Saying.
And Maker, we see he's on mute because he is busy doing work, I'm sure, or he is he's having a tough time on a boss.
He's on X5. That's what he's.
SPG, want to give yourself a shout out?
Yeah, you can find me over at YouTube's at Simply Pwned Gaming, and I'm going to be streaming something here coming up on the hour, but what it is, I don't know. Surprise, I guess.
All right, and we got that PlayStation gamer. I'm not going to miss you this time. Give yourself a shout out, sir.
I'm probably gonna end up streaming something today. It'll probably be Concord, just cause hey man, I gotta show that company, right? Got a couple videos I'm working on. Mostly gonna talk about that 30 FPS for Avowed. I'm actually kind of surprised we didn't talk about that, cause there's just a bunch going on with that shit. But yeah, just keeping it chill, keeping it relaxed for a bit. No more playthroughs. Holy fuck. Horizon Forbidden West took it out of me.
It is a long game, that is for sure. And the 30 FPS thing, that's just standard for consoles. I think we've
for
deduced
Xbox
that.
consoles.
No, all consoles.
Yeah, I think it's all consoles. I think if PlayStation puts the time and craft into something as amazing as Horizon and locks it at 660, that is a rare case. But other than that, I mean, you're mostly going to get the 30 FPS on what is equivalent to the 2000 series on your consoles. And that's just, I think
I know. I'm just being a fanboy. Gotta poke the bear a little.
No. I know.
Hold on. Do
Dude,
something.
PlayStation's the only one who can do it. It's the only one who can do it.
Oh my god. Hit the button. Someone hit the button.
Yes! That PlayStation gamer.
Yeah, whatever.
All right, Ray, give yourself a shout out.
Yo, first of all, thank you, Rue. Thank you, panel. Thank you, everyone in the chat. The Marvel Snap. I play a lot of Marvel Snap. That's what I'm gonna do. Also playing some Once Human, and I'm starting to play this game called Fallen Atlas. Rain, Sandstorm, whatever. It's it's Fallen. That's what I'll be playing. Thank you guys. Enjoy these games wherever you play. Have fun. I'm out.
All right, and we got the.
Yes, you can find me on YouTube and on Twitch. I know I'll be playing Skull and Bones today. I'll be diving into that on PS5. I finally got my account situated, and I don't know if I'll be doing anything over the weekend, but I know Monday I will be playing or diving into a first look and streaming Star Wars Outlaws before the 3-day early access on the 27th.
Exciting stuff, and remember where to give that extra code. All right, and that'll be it for this week on the download. Thanks everyone for coming on by. Thank you, chat.
Get on your back and ride you.
All right.
Wow.
We'll be that'll be behind the paid content. We'll be doing piggyback rides, but other than that,
and then he's gonna come kiss me.
We'll take care and see you all in the next one. Be kind, rewind, and do something nice out there to somebody who needs it. It's too big. It's too big.
Try to believe in me. Why try do I even need to? I die with the season leaves. I glide with the season breeze. True, my mind so easily spooked. I ride just to be the me. Oh, finds hype super decently smooth. Nice type, but as sick as beats.